The African savanna is a place of breathtaking beauty and relentless brutality. Beneath its golden grasses and wide, open skies, a silent war is constantly unfolding. Here, survival doesn't always depend on strength or speed. Sometimes it's about who strikes first and who remains unseen. Imagine the lion, majestic, powerful, often called the king of beasts. With its muscular frame and fearsome roar, it rules over the plains. Feared by nearly all other creatures, it strides with confidence, eyes scanning the horizon for prey. But what happens when the king lets his guard down, when arrogance clouds caution? Sometimes even the mightiest fall not with a roar, but in silence. It was a blistering afternoon in a remote corner of Botswana's Okavango Delta. The sun baked the cracked earth, and most animals had retreated to the shade. But one lion, a lone male separated from his pride, was on the move. Maybe he was hungry. Maybe the scent of a distant carcass lured him forward. Or maybe it was just instinct. Lions are apex predators, after all. Who could possibly pose a threat to them? As he padded through the dry brush, his paws barely making a sound, he came upon a narrow stream, little more than a ribbon of muddy water. A few withered trees stretched their twisted branches skyward nearby. He lowered his head to drink, unaware that just meters away, hidden beneath a thick tangle of roots and leaves, lay another hunter, one with no claws, no roar, but a weapon far deadlier. The black mamba is one of Africa's most feared snakes. Sleek, fast, and terrifyingly venomous, it can strike with lightning speed and inject enough neurotoxin to bring down a grown man in minutes. But what sets it apart isn't just its speed or potency, it's its temperament. Unlike many snakes that flee at the first sign of danger, the black mamba is known for standing its ground, and when it feels cornered, it doesn't hesitate. The lion, oblivious to the danger, stepped forward, brushing against the undergrowth. A flicker of movement, a shimmer of gray scales catching the light was the only warning. The mamba struck once, twice, fangs driving deep into the lion's leg, delivering its deadly payload before retreating back into the shadows. At first, the lion barely flinched. He snarled and limped back a few steps, glancing around in confusion. There was no enemy to chase, no rival to fight, just the stinging pain of the bite. He growled and shook his mane, trying to shake it off, but the venom was already spreading. Every second counted now. The neurotoxins coursing through his bloodstream began attacking his nervous system. His vision blurred, his muscles stiffened. The lion staggered, collapsing near the edge of the stream. The once proud hunter, the symbol of dominance and raw power, now lay helpless, twitching in the dust. It's a rare sight, even for seasoned wildlife experts. Encounters between lions and snakes are uncommon, and fatal attacks are even rarer. Most of the time, snakes stay hidden, and lions, with their acute senses, avoid them. But when territories overlap and one makes the mistake of coming too close, the outcome can be shocking. Nearby, a group of impalas froze, ears twitching, sensing the disturbance. Birds scattered from the trees, their cries piercing the still air. And yet, no roar came, no final charge, just silence. The king had fallen, not in battle with a rival, not while taking down a buffalo or protecting his pride, but by a single, silent assassin. Nature doesn't play favorites. It rewards patience, precision, and adaptability. In this case, the black mamba, smaller, quieter, easily overlooked, emerged the victor. Not through strength, but through deadly efficiency. The incident, captured by a hidden trail camera set up by conservationists, left even the researchers stunned. They reviewed the footage again and again, trying to understand what had unfolded. The lion hadn't provoked the snake. There had been no warning signs. It was simply a matter of wrong place, wrong time. What followed was a deeper look into the rarely seen, often misunderstood role snakes play in Africa's complex ecosystem. They aren't just lurking dangers, they're crucial predators in their own right, keeping rodent populations in check, contributing to ecological balance, and as we saw, even challenging the established order. And this moment wasn't just a freak accident. It was a powerful reminder that no creature, no matter how dominant, is invincible. The savanna doesn't recognize royalty. It only respects survival. As the footage of the fatal encounter spread among wildlife researchers and conservationists, So did the questions. How could a creature as powerful and revered as a lion fall so quickly? What are the chances of a snake bite being not just harmful but lethal to such a formidable predator? And what does it reveal about the hidden hierarchies within nature itself? The lion's death, though tragic, wasn't entirely without precedent. While most large predators dominate their territories with brute force, they're still vulnerable to threats that operate outside the realm of muscle and might. Venom, in its purest form, is nature's equalizer. Silent, swift, and devastating, it doesn't discriminate between predator and prey. It simply does what it was evolved to do: paralyze, kill, survive. Wildlife veterinarians studying similar cases in the region noted how venom from snakes, like the black mamba, acts with terrifying speed. The neurotoxins disrupt communication between the nerves and muscles, essentially shutting the body down from the inside. In smaller animals, death comes within minutes. For a lion, whose size buys it only a little time, it's often a slow descent into paralysis, confusion, and finally, silence. One of the most haunting aspects of this particular case was the lion's solitude. Had he been with his pride, perhaps help would have come. Other lions could have chased the snake off or drawn attention to his distress. But alone, there was nothing to do but wait. In nature, moments like these are brutally indifferent. There's no mercy, no final goodbye. Over the next few hours, scavengers began to move in. Hyenas, ever opportunistic, were the first to approach. They sniffed cautiously, circling the body. One bold female stepped closer, teeth bared, as if expecting the lion to leap up at any second. But there was no movement. The once mighty predator was now reduced to a carcass, a meal for those who had spent their lives avoiding him. It's a scene that turns the natural order on its head. For years, this lion had ruled his domain. He had fought rivals, hunted wild abyss, and roared through the night, announcing his dominance. Yet now, in death, he offered sustenance to the very creatures he once threatened. It's a stark reminder that the cycle of life and death in the wild is unflinching. Glory is fleeting. Survival is everything. Far from the plains, in labs and conservation centers, scientists began discussing the broader implications. How do these rare but significant events shape animal behavior? Do lions learn to fear certain areas after such incidents? Can snake populations influence where larger predators choose to roam? It's a complex web of interdependence, one where even a single encounter can ripple through the ecosystem. And then there's the snake. The black mamba, often vilified in myths and feared across the continent, played no villainous role here. It acted out of instinct, not malice. To the mamba, the lion was just another looming threat. Its strike wasn't predatory, it was defensive. A preemptive action against what it perceived as danger. In fact, most snake bites, whether to humans or animals, are defensive in nature. They don't seek to harm, they seek to survive. Still, that doesn't make their impact any less profound. In a matter of seconds, the balance shifted. The snake vanished into the grass, unseen and undisturbed, leaving behind a scene that would challenge perceptions for years to come. Back on the savanna, the days rolled on. Vultures picked clean the lion's remains. The grasses swayed as if nothing had happened. But for those who witnessed the footage, for those who study the delicate interplay between life and death in the wild, the moment lingered. Because stories like this are more than just rare wildlife encounters. They force us to look beyond appearances, beyond the raw power of the lion, beyond the fearsome reputation of the snake. They show us that in nature, every creature has its role. And every role, no matter how overlooked or misunderstood, carries the power to shape destinies. The black mamba slithered on, hidden beneath the brush, continuing its life away from the spotlight. And somewhere, perhaps not far away, another lion walked the savanna strong, proud, unaware that danger doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. As days turned into weeks, the story of the lion and the black mamba quietly faded into the rhythm of the savanna. But for those who witnessed it, scientists, conservationists, and even the small online community that had seen the camera footage, the event lingered like a ghost in the grass. And yet, in the wild, nothing stands still. The lion's absence didn't go unnoticed. His territory, once marked by deep roars and scent trails, was now unclaimed. Other males began to edge in, testing boundaries, leaving their own marks. listening carefully for a response that never came. The void left behind by his death triggered a slow but inevitable shift in the region's animal dynamics. Nearby, a rival lion coalition, younger and more aggressive, moved in. With no dominant male to challenge them, they took over the area, forcing out any lingering females or subadults still loyal to the fallen king. For his former pride, the consequences were swift and brutal. Cubs sired by the deceased lion were targeted, killed to clear the way for new bloodlines, a common but savage ritual in lion society. So one strike, one silent, venomous bite didn't just end a life, it reshaped an entire corner of the ecosystem, and it raised a haunting question. How often do such quiet deaths go unseen? How many powerful predators have vanished not in a cinematic struggle for dominance, but in sudden, unsuspecting encounters with dangers that hide in plain sight? The trail camera that captured the initial footage was left in place, continuing to record the comings and goings of the region's wildlife. A few weeks later, it recorded something just as remarkable: another lion, this time a young female, cautiously approaching the same stream where the previous encounter had taken place. She moved slowly, ears flicking, muscles taut. She paused at the edge, nose twitching, and backed away. Was it instinct, the faint lingering scent of death, or a learned fear passed down through behavior, a memory encoded in action rather than thought? Researchers could only speculate, but the footage sparked renewed interest in how animals sense and avoid danger, especially the kind that doesn't roar or growl, but waits. This female, unlike her unfortunate predecessor, survived the moment. She didn't drink, she didn't take the risk. She turned and vanished into the bush, her golden coat blending seamlessly with the grass. Perhaps she sensed something the others didn't, or perhaps the lion that had fallen had, in some small way, left behind a silent warning. In the following months, the black mamba was spotted several more times by rangers patrolling the area. Though it was impossible to tell whether it was the same individual, it moved with the same elusive grace, disappearing before it could be closely observed. Snakes like the mamba often live solitary lives, hunting at dawn and dusk, avoiding conflict unless forced. Yet they are apex predators in their own right, masters of ambush, unmatched in their efficiency. Their power lies not just in their venom, but in their anonymity. While lions are bold and visible, symbols of strength and dominance, mambas operate in the margins, striking only when necessary and only with purpose. This contrast, this quiet balance between power and precision, defines the savanna just as much as any great chase or battle. And for those who study these ecosystems, this rare clash between lion and snake is more than just a curious event. It's a reminder of how fragile dominance truly is, that survival isn't promised to the strongest, but to the most aware, that even in a land where tooth and claw reign supreme, sometimes it's the hidden dangers, the ones you never see coming, that leave the deepest impact. What happened by that stream wasn't just a rare occurrence. It was a testament to nature's complexity, a demonstration of how every creature, no matter its size or reputation, has the power to alter the course of life around it. Whether it's a lion roaring through the plains, or a snake coiled silently in the shadows, both command respect, both shape the wild. And in a world where most tales of the savanna celebrate the lion's rule, it's important to remember the others, the ones that don't always get seen, the ones that strike once and vanish. As the seasons shifted and rains softened the cracked ground, the grasses returned with vibrant force, covering the scars left behind by hooves, claws, and death. Nature, ever resilient, pressed on, and the savanna, with all its fierce beauty, continued its endless cycle of life, competition, and rebirth. But somewhere in that rhythm, the memory of one silent encounter still echoed, not just through the landscape, but through the understanding of those who observed it. In many ways, the story of the lion and the snake challenged the narrative we've come to expect from the wild. We're used to tales of grand hunts, of mighty beasts clashing in displays of power and fury. We expect the lion to triumph, to tower above the rest as the uncontested ruler of its domain. But this story flipped that script. It reminded us that in the wild, power is not absolute. It's situational, delicate, and sometimes undone by the most unexpected forces. For conservationists working in the region, The event spurred new questions and a deepened appreciation for the unseen dynamics at play in ecosystems like this one. The focus shifted not just to the animals at the top of the food chain, but to those lurking in the layers beneath. Snakes, often viewed with fear or indifference, emerged as critical components of the balance. Not villains, not monsters, but vital actors in the drama of survival. Education campaigns were launched in local communities near wildlife reserves, not to incite fear of snakes, but to foster understanding. People were taught how to recognize venomous species, how to avoid encounters, and how to treat bites should they occur. But more importantly, they were taught to respect snakes not as threats, but as creatures with a role to play, just like lions, elephants, or eagles. And in the broader conversation about wildlife, this story served as a metaphor. How often in life do we overlook the quiet dangers, the slow-building threats? How often do we walk forward, confident and unchallenged, never considering what waits just out of sight? The fall of the lion is not just a cautionary tale for animals, it's a moment that speaks to something deeply human as well. Perhaps that's why this incident resonated so strongly with people around the world. It wasn't just about a snake and a lion. It was about how quickly things can change, how easily dominance can slip away, how survival often depends not on strength, but on awareness, and how nature, in all its complexity, doesn't follow our rules or our sense of fairness. It plays by its own, and yet there's beauty in that, in the unpredictability, in the reminder that no matter how much we observe or study, nature still holds surprises, still humbles us, that even the king of beasts can fall, not to another roaring predator, but to a whisper in the grass. So what do you think? Was this lion simply unlucky? Or is there a deeper message here about the balance of power in the wild? Have you ever witnessed or heard about unexpected encounters in nature that changed the way you see things? We'd love to hear your thoughts, your stories, or your questions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more gripping, true stories from the heart of the wild, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us bring you even more incredible moments from nature's untamed world. And remember, strength isn't always loud. Sometimes it's silent, sometimes it's hidden, but it's always there, just beneath the surface. Stay curious, stay respectful, and stay wild.